My name's Stuart Lomas, and it's a Monday afternoon. Firstly, I want to say a very big thank you to Mr. MRStoneycool69. Another great name. Another great name. You are my third subscriber. Who knew? Who knew? I thought I'd be here all alone, ranting, raving, musing on different pointless subjects, and nobody would be interested. And it seems like at least 3 people are interested enough to subscribe, and I've had 98 views. 98, count them. Well, you know, compared to people like Archie, not a lot, but more than I expected. So thank you to all out there who are watching this nonsense, and thank you to all 3 of you who are subscribing currently. What do I want to talk about today? Well, there's a number of things kind of buzzing around my head right now, and I think first thing I want to talk about is a reply I got from Mr. MRStoneycool69 regarding my Cameron and Miliband discussion stroke video. Your views are read with interest. You are absolutely right in what you say. The problem that I foresee here in the UK, and I have no doubt you'll reply to this, which I will welcome, certainly England, rather than the UK, because I class myself as English, not British. I'm very proud of that. I'm very proud of my background, and I try to be as English gentlemanly as I possibly can, which hopefully reflects in my videos, and I try to be as fair and as balanced as I can, and I will attempt to do so today. I'm sure that what I will say won't sit well with some viewers perhaps, but that reflects on your views and your beliefs, which you are entitled to hold. You mentioned regarding immigration getting out of control in this country. I agree. The big problem that I foresee, and this has been my view and my belief for many years now, that England is viewed as, or perhaps maybe more important, we view ourselves as owing the world an apology. An apology for having the largest empire the world has ever seen. And yes, I know it was called the British Empire, but England was, is, and probably always will be the dominating factor of the British Isles. And I put the caveat in there, I do apologise to Northern Ireland, Wales and Scotland, but that's kind of how it is. And I think that, as we're all aware, that you don't build an empire with fluffiness, chocolate desserts and sugar in tea. You build an empire by having the biggest stick. And for many, many years, Britain, England had the biggest stick, which created the largest controlled surface area of the planet that the world has ever seen, that I would wager to say that the world will ever see. So therefore, my feeling and belief that the world views us and we view ourselves as owing a huge apology to places like the Indian subcontinent, for instance, which puts us in a position whereby we felt duty-bound to allow influx of immigrants seeking refuge from drought and war, and they were seeking economic migration, which is fine. Everybody does that. There are people who leave the British Isles to go and work in America or Australia because the money and the conditions are better, and that's exactly what you should do. But the problem that I have is twofold. the do-gooder side of society, which do have their plus points, but the negative side of them, they have a very blinkered view that they feel that integration is all down to us. We should do all we can to bring in and welcome other countries and other cultures, and there's a part of me that agrees with that, and we do enrich our civilizations by having other cultures in our countries. I mean, what would we do without decent curries, for instance? We have a fantastic Chinese community here in Manchester that I adore. But the other side that I see is that there are certain now residents of the UK who don't want to integrate, when in fact what they want to do is recreate their home country here. Now, I'm sure what I'm going to say next will get some response, but when I go on holiday, let's put it this way. I was in France for a month about 8-9 years ago, and I was in the south of France, and I lived in different small areas, villages, etc., where English was not widely spoken. So my French is, like most people's, is you know, pidgin French, but I did my best to speak French, because I was in France, funnily enough, and in France there's a lot of French people. You know, I mean, what's that about? Why don't they move out when I'm on holiday? You know, anyway. But you will find a lot of immigrants coming into this country where English is not only not their first language, but they do not wish to acquire English to make their lives easier and make the lives easier of people who have to help them integrate. And also they of course want other aspects of their culture to dominate the skyline of different citizens around the world. Now the problem that you've got here is this belief is closely and widely held within the political class, and they view that it is necessary for us to do all we can, and when I say us I mean the British people, to do all we can to make the lives of incomers better. But there's an old saying, and I tag this onto the foreign aid budget, which I'll touch on in a minute. Charity begins at home. We see countless adverts, for want of a better phrase, on television from a lot of major charities, WaterAid and Oxfam and stuff like that, asking for aid for children who are starving in African countries, Asian countries, and so on and so forth. But we have homeless children here. We have children who are malnourished here. We have children who are beaten here. What happened to Charity Begins at Home? If somebody can tell me, please do. The foreign aid budget, I think it's something like 23 million, I could be wrong. If anybody knows, let me know. It could well be more, probably is. It's probably over 100 million, I don't know. It must be over 23 million, what am I talking about? That is spent every year, regardless. Now, are we not in financial danger right now? I know if you listen to old Georgie Boy Osborne, one of Cameron's posh mates, he will tell you that things are improving. Oh no. And in my view, if you view a country like your household, if your household is short of money, things have to go. You know, you don't shop at Sainsbury's, you shop at Aldi, you know, that kind of thing, and you cut down on other things. Well, one of the obvious things that I can see we can cut down on is foreign aid budget. So that then could be poured into towards the national debt surely that's a good idea. You have to look after your people here in the UK before you start looking after the people abroad. It is incumbent on ourselves to look after ourselves and find ways to make our existence better. And it appears to me that we have been seeing the same pictures. I remember when I was a little boy seeing the pictures of starving kids in Biafra in the 60s. Now 50 years has moved on and I'm still seeing very similar pictures. Why is that? I don't know. But the foreign aid budget should not be the foreign aid budget. It should be the UK aid budget, and it should be squarely tagged towards helping people in our country who are less fortunate, and there are many. I think politics at the moment is broken. Ed Miliband is a liability. MRStoneycool69, you're absolutely right. I applaud your views. I think that anybody who is suckered in to following Labour under his leadership is bemused. And anybody who follows Cameron because all you're going to get from him is more of the same. So in 5 years we will still be asking the same questions. Quite a serious one today. The questions that I'm posing to me are quite serious, and it's very, very hard to pose these questions, certainly about immigration and immigrants into the UK, without sounding racist. I am not racist. I find it hard to understand where the balance is between the indigenous population making all the efforts to welcome in any incoming race, and the incoming race is apparently not making the same kind of efforts to learn the language, to not change the landscape by having their own churches or mosques or whatever. I don't know. I don't know what that is without appearing to stray into very negative areas of life. It is one of those things where it will be viewed very negatively, and I'm sure that this video will be viewed negatively by some people, and it isn't meant that way at all. Immigration to me should be more like Canada or Australia, where it's very, very difficult to get in. You have to ask the question why people want to come to Britain when we're a tiny piece of rock in the North Atlantic that they have to cross a sea to get to. You have to ask that question when they could stop in Holland, Germany, France, Belgium. Now Belgium's an interesting one because they say that by the year 2035 the indigenous population will be outnumbered by immigrants. How is that allowed? I don't understand how that's allowed. But as I say, quite a serious one today. I don't like doing serious videos, really. So I'll sign off now, and I'll sign off by saying thank you again to MRStoneycool69. Great name, great name. Thank you very much indeed for showing enough interest into subscribing my channel. The mighty heights of 3 subscribers and 98 views. Who knew? Any comments on today's difficult subject? Down below. Any questions? Anything you want to pose regarding today's subject? Down below. If there's anything you want me to cover, down below. And please, as always, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye bye for now.